I offer my obeisances to all the devotees, both those online and offline, wherever we are. Well, we did hear that Belgium, despite the lockdown that Jadharani Dasi is inspiring so many sets of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatams to reach their destination. We also have been affected here by the lockdown in France. You could say in a different way. Our lockdown here in France is that we've been locked down without Srimad Bhagavatam sets now for many decades. And we'd love to join you with some figures, but they'd only be ethereal at this moment of time because we don't have any way of physically manifesting them. But we are hoping and praying by Srila Prabhupada's mercy and all your grace that this year Brahma Muhurta Prabhu and Narayani and all the devotees of the North European BBT have been working very feverishly to reprint the French Srimad Bhagavatam sets this year. So we do hope that this year we will have them. We won't have them, I don't think, for Bhadra Purnima. That would be a bit much to expect, but at least we hope by the Christmas marathon, the Prabhupada book marathon, that we might be able to get this privilege of being able to take Srila Prabhupada's mercy in this form. I would like to mention, although Divyanam Prabhu is, we are sometimes in touch with each other, but not so often. But he asked last year how many sets. Well, we did do a few sets. We have done a few sets this year in Tamil and Hindi and English Bhagavatams. Very few, maybe a dozen. So. But we have four, when the sets are ready, it's only up to the 10th canto, unfortunately, at this point. But when they're ready, we have already pledges for about 200 to 300 sets of Bhagavatams. And we hope to double that by the end of the year. So well, that doesn't count. And maybe that counts next year. I don't know how it works, but whatever. Already paid for. They're not just pledges, they've already paid in advance. So this is very exciting to us. We've been in this lockdown too long without Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Prabhupada's life and soul, is very heart. That his mission, practically speaking, is focused on Srimad Bhagavatam. And as Vaisheshika Prabhu was so wonderfully sharing with us early on, how on the boat on the Jaladuta, how Srila Prabhupada was basically absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam and its glories. And I just like to read a little bit, one of the most inspirational, to myself at least, wherever we've been in this little lifetime, one of the most inspirational things which I find of Srila Prabhupada's writing is his poem in Jaladuta in Markandeya Bhagavat Dharma in Boston, which was almost, I don't think it was on Bhadra Purnima, but it was about that time, September the 18th, 1965, when Prabhupada arrived in Boston. I'll just read a few verses with your kind permission. Prabhupada's writing here, Prabhupada saying, I wish that you may deliver them, referring to the conditioned souls of this world. I wish, referring to Krishna, he's approaching Krishna. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation. And if a sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regularly hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. At the time loving service is established in the heart, the modes of passion and ignorance and lust and desire disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes happy. Thus established in the mode of goodness, the man, rejuvenated by loving service to the Lord, gains liberation from material association and comes to know scientifically of the personality of Godhead. Thus the knots of the heart and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. And Prabhupada carries on, he will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart will disappear. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore, I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. And I just find that this poem of Srila Prabhupada's is like the mission statement in a sense. Even we could say for the whole of ISKCON, in a sense, it's the foundation, as they say, that's the spirit of the law, not the word of the law. We have many words, but the spirit which Srila Prabhupada manifests is our inspiration, and how Srila Prabhupada so much appreciated the endeavor to distribute these Srimad Bhagavatams, which he gave his life soul for, as the greatest, practically the greatest gift to humanity. And we're hoping that this year, with all of your blessings and the grace of the Lord, that we will have again be able to share the Srimad Bhagavatam in French with the, let's say, in this destitute part of the world. We've been off the map in a sense. As many of you know, France at one time, the devotees here were practically leading the world in book distribution. Some of those devotees are still around today. In fact, one came to the temple today. I'm at someone's house right now because the internet's not good enough at the temple to host, or not host, but to be on a program like this hardly. So anyway, that devotee came, he's an old book distributor, and he wants to get back into book distribution again. We have quite a few devotees. I went out yesterday on Sankirtan with one of the leading book distributors of the 70s, and he's back into it. He did a few weeks ago, he did 38 Bhagavad Gitas in one day, which is quite something for France. If anyone's distributed books in France in the last decade or two, they'll know that it's quite rare. We're very unsophisticated here. We're old-fashioned, we're immature, we're lacking in brains. We were just, we're not very Krishna conscious bunch, but we're trying a little bit to old style. We go on the street and we just try to distribute Prabhupada's books. We do try to do book tables, but the local authorities usually stop us because it's illegal at this moment. But we're trying. And on Bhadra Punim 2 years ago, we did have a bash at it. We do have the first canto, part 1 and 2 of the Bhagavatam in French, still left a few copies. And on Bhadra Punim Day, we distributed about 200 Srimad Bhagavatams, just one book, small book, hardbound book, first canto, part 1 or part 2. So we did something. It was really exciting. I must say, we'll do our best this year, but unfortunately, we can't report any scores in terms of sets, except for a few. If you want us to, we can do what we've done in terms of English and a few other languages. But we hope that next year we'll be able to, let's say, join you in terms of the, not just the spirit of the law, but the letter of the law as well, with some figures. And that's about it, I guess, at the moment. We're just trying. We've got 4 devotees on full-time book distribution now. We just purchased a traveling Sankirtan van for them to travel around in. And we have Agni Dev Prabhu here going around the country doing Harinam Sankirtan. He's staying in France right now, and he goes sometimes with a Harinam, with a book distribution party. It's a great combination. And we hope this will grow more and more and more. So France, a little bit, we might get back on that map and bring some pleasure to Srila Prabhupada again, which is what we're trying to do. The whole process is to please Srila Prabhupada by distributing his books. And I think we all know this is the sure way, as Vaisheshika Prabhu was saying, this is the infallible way. Other processes are important, but Kirtan, which includes Brihat Madanga Kirtan, is the infallible means of success in our Krishna consciousness. No one can doubt that. Whatever means it takes, whether it's online or on the street or door to door or whatever it is, somehow or another, this message of Srimad Bhagavatam has to penetrate their hearts. By Srila Prabhupada's grace, he's praying to the Lord, please, how they'll understand this message. Please may my words be suitable so that they can understand this message. So we pray that the Lord's mercy and the devotee's mercy, that we'll be able to share Srimad Bhagavatam, share Srila Prabhupada and all of our Acharya's mercy and association with millions of people here in France. Maybe we hope that they may change a little bit the consciousness, and let's hope that we see what to say, the Vaikuntha that Srila Prabhupada lives in, manifesting a little bit more. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.